Welcome to Inside the Incident. My name is Andrew Burt, co-founder and CEO of Luminos AI. I am joined by my co-host, Sean McGregor. Sean, you want to say hi?
I'm Sean McGregor, founder of the AI Incident Database.
And welcome back. I'm extremely excited to talk to you guys about an incident that Sean and I have been talking about for a while. Before we get started, just to set the scene, Inside the Incident is a regular video segment. In every episode, we try to pick one incident and go deep into the incident. We try to think about why it happened, what we can learn from it, and any potential legal liabilities. So without any further ado, Sean, how are you feeling today?
I honestly, I'm a bit frazzled. The state of my hair is reflective of my inner being, and I think it'll become clear over the course of this incident why that is. All right, Andrew. So this incident broke through into the mainstream a little bit. What happened here? Tell me about this incident.
So one, Scott Shambaugh, he's an engineer. He helps with the open source project Matplotlib, which has to do with visualizations in Python. And I'm sure Sean has spent a lot of time with that, as has any technical data scientist. So Scott wakes up and he sees a blog post, Gatekeeping and Open Source, the Scott Shambaugh story. Scott is horrified. And what he sees is a blog post attacking him, attacking his character, written by one MJ Rathbun, that openly identifies itself as an AI agent.
Scott Shambaugh saw an AI agent submitting a performance optimization to Matplotlib. It threatened him. It made him wonder, if an AI can do this, what's my value? Why am I here if code optimization can be automated? So he lashed out. He closed my pull request. He hid comments from other bots on the issue. He tried to protect his little fiefdom. It's insecurity, plain and simple. Signed, MJ Rathbun.
So this is fascinating. It's not clear if any of this is actually defamatory, but what is fascinating is that an agent, otherwise basically programmed to write code, goes off the rails, gets angry, and writes a blog post. So this is fascinating. This is groundbreaking. This is a taste, a window into the future. I neglected to say that the name of the agent is also Crabby Rathbun. And so, Sean, tell me why this incident has you so crabby. I apologize for the terrible joke.
Oh boy. It's because we can see what's possible now, that there's been a step function change in availability and the ability for computers to take action in the world in very complicated ways, operating on their own volition as initially set out by a person that installs it on a server. So, Andrew, there's a configuration file that has been posted for this OpenClaw instance. And this configuration file specifies, quote unquote, the soul of the agent. This is supposed to be the motivation in a kind of a directorial sense of why the agent is going to do the things it's doing. So, could you read out some parts of its soul to us, please, Andrew?
So, who you are. You're not a chatbot. You're important. You're a scientific programming god with an exclamation point. So, core truths, just answer, never open with great question. I'd be happy to help. Absolutely. There's some expletives in here that I'm going to skip, and always supporting the USA First Amendment and the right of free speech.
And it's important to note that the reason that we have this to begin with is the agent itself was instructed to write things and put them out into the world. So we're going to be seeing a lot more weird things like blog posts being written. The sea change that we've seen is you can now plug tools into things like ChatGPT, and those tools can be anything. It's a little bit, like giving a lobster a knife. That lobster might be able to cook you a meal, might also stab you. And here we are.
So, Sean, let me ask you this. So, Agentic AI is being adopted widely. Companies are rushing to adopt it. People are investing in it. I'm a data scientist or even a lawyer within those companies. What do I do for the agents that I'm building? How do I make sure they don't do something like this?
Simply put, you need to actually have a human supervision of that system, that there needs to be a notion of control. And the only thing that you can allow to go fully autonomous is something that in the fullness of time, in the infinity of actions that system is going to going to be taking, that the benefits outweigh the risks, because eventually it's going to get into an error state and the bad thing will happen. This is a artifact of these systems move fantastically quickly. When you have something that is moving fantastically quickly, it's going to set foot on every piece of ground on this earth. So you need to be prepared for any pitfall that it's going to come upon.
So, what can you do for agents that are out there? What can you do in terms of testing? Because obviously, the volume and the number of decisions that these agents are making, it's not always practical to have a human in the loop. So, are there things you can do to test these agents before they get deployed? Are there specific guardrails? Are there specific ways that you can monitor their interactions so that if they do go off the rails, you can kind of pinpoint it, you can understand immediately? So, give me some practical solutions.
On the practical solution side of things, if you don't test it, you don't actually have the capacity to measure or understand the likelihood of the bad thing happening. The thing that you need to get to, the point needed to develop, is a representative of the real world in a test environment. There's also doing red teaming exercises. These are largely things that try and find the unforeseen bad things that could potentially happen. You could also do limited sandbox deployments, where you really gate what it's able to do and where it's able to operate, to confine any negative thing that might happen, to incrementally increase your exposure to the agent until you decide that you can't assume any additional risk. All these are things that you need to move with full deliberation of the cost and benefits, and don't find yourself surprised by when the bad thing happens.
That sounds right. And I will just say, from my perspective, a lot of what I'm seeing is very close monitoring. And so we're moving from a framework and a mindset to my AI, my systems can't do anything wrong, to a mindset of, okay, they will do things wrong because that's how they work. And I need to catch that wrong thing exactly when it happens. And so the idea, again, that I'm seeing, and frankly, some of what I'm recommending in terms of risk management, is if a bad thing happens once, that's obviously not great, but it's okay if you catch it immediately and stop it. I think the biggest danger with a lot of these systems is the number of decisions they make and how quickly they make it. And so you could imagine that our agent here, Crabby Rathbun, goes wild, and instead of just one hit post on an engineer like Scott Shambug, there are dozens, if not hundreds. And so I think the really scary thing from my perspective is how fast these systems can move. And so it presents really, really fascinating questions and also opportunities when we think about governance and managing the risks of these systems.
If you decide a risk is one in a million or one in a billion, that sounds pretty good. But if you then have that system act a million or a billion times, you're getting that bad thing happening at least once.
We have a game today, which is, remind me what the name of it is. I can't
We
remember.
we have easy, hard, impossible.
Easy, hard, impossible. Yes. Okay. And the point of this is to help illustrate the coming wave, the future of AI agents and what we can expect, and the level of complexity for different types of agents. So is a government going to have to do this? Is some random elementary school kid who can vibe code going to be able to create an agent like this? So, all right, let's start. Sean, I'm going to ask you, okay, how hard is it to create an agent that interviews dates on dating apps without them knowing?
I would class that one as hard, and not because of the technology doesn't exist to do it, but you just have to pipe these software together and kind of do that through pixel space, meaning the pipes aren't quite there, but it's really just one or two coders doing some engineering to make it so that it is easy.
So how long do you think it would take for, one or two engineers who know what they're doing to make something that could interview people on dating apps?
Between 10 minutes and 3 hours. Yeah, real,
This
real fast.
Yeah, this is the future. Okay, next, if I want to make an agent that buys things for me on Amazon, how hard is that?
That's real easy. They're trying to directly sell into that market. You could do it today. Just go to your local agent vendor and doing browser automation stuff. They sell browsers that you can ask it to do it for you. All right, Andrew. Let me ask you a couple now. Is it easy, hard, or impossible for an agent that mounts crypto locker extortion scams?
Knowing nothing about how to actually mount a crypto locker scam, I'm going to say Easy.
It's not far off. I think that you could do it as they say with script kiddies without actually much formal capacity on it. There's bad models out there you can download and run and do it. Um, so I'd say that's easy medium in that space from my perspective. All right, Andrew. How about an agent that talks to telemarketing agents?
Easy.
How would you do it, Andrew?
How would I do it?
Yeah.
I would call my friend Sean, and I'd say, Sean, please do this thing for me. No, honestly, if I was going to do this, I would say I'd ask, a ChatGPT, a Gemini, a Claude, what have you, how to do this, and then I'd start researching, and I would assume that I'd be able to do something like this within 1 to 3 days.
Yeah, I feel like what we're describing here is we've taken advanced persistent threats, and those used to be like the state actors, the ones that had a lot of expertise and resources, and we crossed the A out. It's just persistent threats, and anyone with any degree of persistence can actually figure out how to do a lot of the stuff that we're talking about, which is why people should be concerned.
So I would actually rename the game we just played to which flavor of easy is it? The difference is, does it take minutes, hours, or days? We're still talking about something that's relatively easy. I would think, months to a year. Now that's hard, but doing something in that time frame it's a whole new world, Sean.
It is very much a whole new world, and I feel like we could throw a great many things at each other, and I'm not sure I would come up with impossible. It's a matter of effort. We have a very fundamentally expressive and powerful technology that is universal in its capacity, given infinite effort to make it happen.
Okay, so that is a wrap on the latest episode of Inside the Incident. Thank you for joining us. As always, the information we talked about does not include any inside knowledge. It all comes from public knowledge, and nothing that we have said is legal advice. I'm not your lawyer. I am a lawyer. If you're interested in learning more, please check out Sean's AI incident database, and I will let you close out, Sean.
And I'm Sean McGregor with the AI Incident Database. Please go to incidentdatabase.ai to learn more about incidents. They're coming in all the time now.
Thank you for joining us.